Hello everyone, it's Nina. Thanks for joining me today for a new tutorial. And I'm going to be showing you how to create this window scene using a new stamp and die set from Simon Says Stamps Send Happiness release. I'm going to show you not only how I created this window scene where we have this beautiful mermaid tail showing up on the front of the card and peeking into the inside of the card where the sentiment is. I'm going to show you not only how I did that, but I'm also going to show you how I Copic colored this mermaid tail to look like this beautiful iridescent rainbow color palette. Unfortunately, my footage featuring the body of the tail was a bit corrupted, and I did not know this until after I had finished the card. So unfortunately, I don't have the footage on how exactly I did the body of the tail, but I want you to know that how I colored the fins of her tail are exactly the same method that I used to color the body. So let me show you what I did. I started by taking 3 different shades of very light Copic markers, a pink, a blue, and a yellow. I'm very carefully blending these 3 colors together to get other hues in between. So the yellow and blue are creating green, pink and the blue are creating purple, and the yellow and pink are creating an orangey tone. After I've blended those 3 together, then I'm coming back in with slightly darker shades and going over those areas to fill things in. This is allowing me to get this really cool gradation of beautiful rainbow colors, and it's creating a very pretty iridescent holographic look to her tail. So the body of the tail, when I created it, I used those same 3 light colors and colored them in. Instead of using the darker colors and creating an intense overlay over the entire tail, I actually strategically placed colors over top of the lighter areas, and I only did it on certain scales. I did not do it across the entire body, and that's how I get that really cool kaleidoscope effect. In between coloring the fins so that they had time to dry, I also colored in the 2 seashells that I've stamped as well, and that's from the same Be a Mermaid stamp set. There are coordinating dies for this set, so I'll use those to cut these images out. Before I get to that though, I need to show you what I did to create the ocean that's also part of this scene. There is a wave border stamp that's included in the stamp set, and I'm stamping that with Intense Black ink onto Nina Solar White cardstock. And that's the same ink and paper that I used to stamp and color the mermaid. Alright, so after stamping the waves, I'm going to use a couple of Copic markers in some really nice blue teal shades, and I'm just lightly shading each little section of the wave to create a really nice dimensional looking ocean. And I'm going to color 3 of these borders, so that way I can layer these together to create some depth to my scene. Next, I am going to bring in those dies and cut out not only the wave border, but also the mermaid, the seashells, and I'm going to cut out a second mermaid tail from just some plain white cardstock because I'm going to use that to hide the backside of the mermaid tail when you're seeing it from the inside of the card. We'll get to that in a minute. After die cutting, I'm going to bring all of my images in and some glitter. I have the Lawn Fawn chunky glitter and also the Wow Atlantica sparkles mix. These are gorgeous glitters, very dimensional and very chunky pieces. I really love them. To adhere all the glitter, I'm using glossy accents because it will dry clear and it's going to hold the glitter nicely. I'm applying the glue in strategic areas. I'm not covering over the entire border of waves, and I'm also not going to cover over the entire mermaid tail. I'm simply placing some glue here and there across the images and then sprinkling the glitter over top. So I use the Atlantica for the ocean, and then I'll use Prisma glitter for the mermaid tail. I also covered over the mermaid tail with some aqua shimmer pen for extra sparkle. So here I'm adding the glossy accents to the mermaid tail, and then I'll bring in the chunky glitter and apply that over top. This creates a really beautiful shimmer and just goes perfectly with the coloring that we've done on her tail. I'll set all of these aside to dry so I can work on creating the card base while these are drying. Now we need to do a bit of die cutting here to create the panel that's going to show through to the inside of the card. So to help me make this, I'm going to use a Simon Says Stamp rectangle die and a Simon Says Stamp circle to cut out a panel that's slightly smaller than an A2 card, and that circle is also going to be the window for my card scene. After I've taken the panel out, I'm going to use this to apply over top of some pattern paper that's going to cover my card base. This is going to help me know exactly where I need to place the circle that I'm going to die cut with, so that way the window on the pattern paper and the card base are cut in the exact same position as the panel that's going to get laid over top. And this will make more sense after I've done all my die cutting. So I'm going to line up that circle and then line the die up over top. The die nestles right in over top of that die cut perfectly, so I know exactly where I need to place it. Then I can glue this onto my card base, and I did the exact same process of lining up that circle on not only the pattern paper but also the card base. So everything's lined up perfectly and we're ready to assemble our scene. The Ocean Waves border stamp is perfect for creating some really nice depth, and I'm going ahead and taping these to the back side of my panel. Because this is going to get adhered onto my card, I'm not worried about using super permanent tape to hold these down as I'm assembling, because I know they're going to end up getting sandwiched in between the card base and this panel in the end. And that's allowing me to reposition things as I'm adhering things together so that I have a little bit more wiggle room. On the back side of my waves, I am adding some other wave pieces so that way the back side is nice and clean when you see this through the inside of the card. I did the same thing with the mermaid tail, which I had cut earlier from white cardstock, plain, so that way I could layer this behind the colored one, and you can't see the coloring or the adhesive for when you're looking at the card from the back side when you open it up. So there are a whole bunch of sentiments in the stamp set, and I chose to use the Positive Mermaid Vibes stamp. That I stamped in black ink onto the right-hand side of my circle, and that creates a really nice bit of depth to my scene, but also continues the design to the inside. To embellish things, I added those little seashells and starfish that I had colored, and also a few sequins from some Simon Says Stamp sequin mixes. I really love how all of these add just a little bit more embellishment to this beautiful card, which is basically being carried by that mermaid tail and the waves. Those are so intense and so beautiful that I left the card pretty simple so that they could shine. And you'll notice I added a few sequins on the inside, which helps keep the design continuous to the inside of the card. So here's the finished card with all the sparkle and the beautiful rainbow colors. I love how this card turned out. It was so much fun to make, and I hope that it inspires you to try out this coloring technique with the new Be a Mermaid stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. Today's video is part of a blog hop, so if you want to check out the blog hop and participate in the giveaways that are happening during the hop, please be sure to stop on my blog to get all the details on that. Thanks so much for tuning in today. You can subscribe to my channel for more weekly inspiration, and I'll be back again very soon with more to share. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye!